Morning, guys. Josh here, Michigan Whitetail Management. Hey, I wanted to come to you guys with some information that I've been waiting for a week or two here. I finally got a call back. Chad Stewart with the DNR out of Lansing has been on vacation and stuff, so they had put me in contact and with a young lady, and she was able to call me back the end of the week there, and wanted to kind of relay that message. Ashley Otmers, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but here is what we talked about. One is the mineral. So using mineral stations, mineral sites. I think there's some miscues going around about the mineral sites and what we can use and what we can't. So before we started promoting mineral sites and how to use mineral sites and what we can use mineral sites for here going into the future, that's definitely something that I wanted to talk to them about, and I did. And what we came up with is this. A mineral site is a mineral site no matter the size of the location. So right now, as it is right now, and this is not something that they're looking to change, there is absolutely no mineral being used. So it means no mineral. I asked if you could bury it. I asked if a certain ground cover over it so you could absorb that into the ground more, so it's not nose-to-nose contact, and they don't want any of that. There's no mineral at all. So that means no mineral blocks, of course. That means no burying the mineral. That means there's no site size that will allow you to use the mineral. So there is, I've had a couple questions about this because there is some local attention, I'll say, that says that you can use the mineral by spreading it over your food plot. That's not true. So there's no way to use the mineral. In our application, once we create a property, and if we do your plot prep and do your plots, there's no research or there's no value to adding mineral, a granule mineral, I should say. And I'm not talking about a fertilizer or a plot booster or anything like that. I'm talking about mineral, broadcasting mineral over your brassicas is not going to help your brassicas. It's not going to absorb into the plant, and the deer are not going to get that mineral from the plant. So that is going around right now, and one, I don't believe that it works. Two, it can't be done anyway. So it doesn't matter if you put it over a 2 foot by 2 foot area or a 2 acre area. So it's just kind of use caution with that going forward here. We are implementing other things that if you had a mineral station that was in use already, there's other things that you can do. That mineral will be in the ground for quite some time, so you can freshen that mineral area up with liquid just by raking it, moving some of it around, but you cannot add any more mineral, salt, anything to it. So that was the answer on that. Absolutely, it's not. So we went into the topic of baiting and what the idea here going into the summer and fall, and where they were going with this and what they thought was on the books or the new legislation that's brought to everybody's attention. And this is the answer that I had got. They do not see the baiting being reinstated ever. Period. It's done. So there's some mixed emotions still about that going around. I myself have mixed emotions about totally doing away with it cold turkey, but it is what it is. I personally feel that it's time. It's time to move on. It's time to kind of learn and grow with each other and try to set your properties up, or the way that you approach to hunt, a little bit different, and strategize and I think that's going to do multiple things. It's going to, our age class and are going to bump up with our mature bucks. I think we're going to see that in the next couple of years. I think we're really going to see what Michigan has to offer. But I understand some of the harsh feelings, I guess, as far as it's going to hurt the economy, such like that. I believe this is what's going to happen. I believe that the first couple of years we will see a decline in hunter numbers, which anytime you lose hunter numbers is not a good thing. But there are multiple successful deer management states, I guess I'll say, around the country that do not bait. And Michigan, there's nothing that Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, any of those states have that Michigan doesn't. And I'll go back to saying the only thing that they have that we don't is management. And it's coming, and it's coming. It has came a long way. But I think it's time to move on without the baiting and really see what Michigan has to offer. So my personal opinion on that, land values are going to go up. There's going to be some land for sale. See that from, some guys that have some mixed emotions, that have properties that maybe up here in our area, let's say, that live in the Grand Rapids, Detroit area, and they don't have the time. They don't feel that they have the time to come up here and be successful if it's not a baited location, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So that's why we are here to help. Like we have said before, is our business is structured around the creating and focused on creating that whitetail property or that wildlife property for you to hunt and be successful with the time that you have or the time that you're permitted to use. So there's a lot of different things that you can do that don't revolve around a food plot. If you do not have money to plant a food plot, you're not going to lose deer. You're not going to lose mature bucks to your neighbor that has a food plot. Now, at some points during a 24-hour period, will you lose that deer to your neighbor if there's those in the area that are feeding off that property? Yes, you will. But it goes back to having the right deer numbers during the right month. And I think a lot of the new way of thinking, because it's not bait, is people are afraid that you're going to lose deer numbers. And the way that we work and the way that we try to teach is, for me, I don't want a high number of summer deer on my property eating and destroying my food plots. I want the right number of deer and the right deer in the fall. And if that's 2 mature bucks and a handful of does on my property that I see all fall, that's fine, because mature bucks do not like the busy atmosphere or the drama that does bring to a property. That they don't. So all that kind of ties in. That's all stuff that we can teach and learn, and doe bedding areas, buck bedding areas. But where this all stems back to is the baiting, which Miss Ashley had touched on. They do not believe that the new legislation brought to everybody's attention is going to even get to that point to even be passed. They have no intention of bringing it back. They have no intention of changing what's already set in stone. So if you looked outside right now, you wouldn't believe this, but it is the middle of March here in mid-Michigan, and it's time to buckle down and focus on what we can do to help you create the best property for within your budget and on that property that you have or you're looking to get. So a lot of different ways to do that, a lot of different ideas, and it all hinges on one thing. It hinges on a start. You have to start. You have to start putting one foot in front of the other to make that plan. And like I said, I've got 6 farms right now that, and another one here coming soon, at the end of this week that I'll be on, that have nothing to do with a food plot. There's no food plot on it. There's not a budget for a food plot. The area, the farms that it's on doesn't permit a food plot. There's nowhere to, they don't, we could put a food plot on there, but it would take major construction, excavation, and it's just not in the cards right now. So what we're looking at is making that property perform with what is there and what has been given, and then tweak it and make sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, to make sure that every time you enter the farm, it's from the right side, all your access, all your entrances, all your exits, all your cover. Is your hinge cutting there? Do you have any hinge cutting? Is there bedding area? Are you losing deer during that crucial time of the fall? Are you losing those deer to your neighbors because of bedding, or are you losing them to your neighbors because of food? Is it 10 acres that we're on, or is it 80 acres, or is it 120? I just chatted with a gentleman this weekend, probably an hour on the phone, no charge, and I'm starting to see the connection with what are we going to do, how are we going to get to the next step, and that's why we're here. So yeah, I wanted to touch on that topic there from the end of the week. I know we've been waiting for that phone call, and Miss Ashley there had touched on that she didn't want to reach out and give that final answer until they had a couple of meetings that they had at the end of the week and last week, and some stuff had changed and some questions were asked to them on their side, and she wanted to make sure that she gave us that proper answer. So we've got that, and that's what we were told. So I've also asked if Miss Ashley herself or Chad Stewart would sometime maybe come in and do a podcast or an interview with us here at the office or out on one of the farms, and there's a paperwork process that we have to turn in to make that happen, but she was willing to make that happen. So I know there was I didn't get to catch it. There was a ask the experts maybe on the public television station this weekend that some folks were talking about, and what I have heard kind of coined the same thing. Now I had a question this weekend. What are my feelings about how things are going to go? What are people going to do? And to answer that is I can sit here all day and think of things that people are going to do to get around baiting as far as still using baiting. And one of the things is taking post hole diggers and planting sugar beets in the ground. And one, that's not legal. Two, it's if you take a harvested sugar beet and you're going to put it in the ground, it's going to rot before the deer are going to eat it anyway, because it's already been taken away from its root base, and it'll never, it's not obviously not going to grow anymore, and it's going to rot. So not something that you want to do. So there's always ways around. People are always going to find a way around it. The fact of the matter is, baiting as we know it in the state of Michigan is over. So I'm hoping to see is a determination made here quick what's going to happen in the UP, because what I fear is if some of these locations around that you can buy bait at, some of the gas stations, and we all know them here in our area and around, they're all over on their way to the UP. I fear that that's going to end up, those bags of bait and everything else are going to end up back here. So I had asked them that too, is what's the enforcement, and they have every intention of stepping up enforcement to make this happen. So wanted to bring that to you guys. Kind of glad to hear that. Now we can kind of bring that to you guys as far as how to plan around that and accordingly to that determination. So thanks for hanging in there on that topic. We've got a couple of videos that we're actually going to be doing here shortly. So always appreciate everybody's support, and hope everybody has a good weekend, or a good week, I guess. We're past the weekend, still got the snow, and we are in the middle of April here. Hopefully with some rain coming, we get rid of the snow, and that's the last of it for for what we have left of our spring. So thanks for following along. Thanks, guys.